right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Vanderbilt fans of all ages, this is Sean Williams here with VandySports.com. We are going to be sprucing up our YouTube channel a little bit, hopefully doing some video features like the one you're about to see moving forward. A lot of maybe more recruiting related stuff coming in the works in the future. So we hope you guys will like our new venture into more video production moving forward on our YouTube channel. So I encourage you guys to like our YouTube channel, give it a like, subscribe, hit that bell button for notifications when we upload new videos moving forward. We're going to do that a lot more as we venture forward into this new venture here. Obviously, we got cool new little software features we can give you guys, and so we're gonna kind of start off there. Start off baby steps, as they say. So we will start off with just kind of recapping what happened over the weekend in college basketball. Obviously, Vanderbilt just starting there, something we covered on the site on Saturday night. Lost a close one to Georgia, 73-70 down in Athens. It was a game that Vanderbilt had started out very slow, then got back into the game, had a 7-point deficit at halftime, quickly kind of erased that, was able to tie the game on 5 separate occasions in the second half, and just wasn't able to overcome and grab a lead from Georgia. Obviously, they're very late in the game. They tied it at 68, they tied it at 70, but ultimately couldn't make the plays necessary, couldn't make a shot late, and lost that game 73-70. With that loss, Vanderbilt's now 5-9 on the season, 1-7 in SEC play. They are last. But we'll talk a little bit more about that moving forward. First off, we'll just kind of hit the SEC as a whole. Obviously, here's the schedule from the weekend, the results, what happened. So we'll kind of talk about that. Obviously, the big game was Alabama at Missouri. Missouri had a pretty big lead, was dominating in this game pretty much from the get-go, and at one point in the second half early they had a 22-point lead, but Alabama scratch-clawed their way back, got it to within 66-65 with a minute 13 left, but Missouri was able to prevail and get a big win, man. That was Alabama's first SEC loss. They had a ton of momentum going into this game. And, Missouri gives them Alabama their first loss of the season, and Missouri's having a really great season right now. They're obviously ranked 18th. That's probably going to change on Monday morning or Monday when the new poll comes out. So, Missouri's on a roll, and beating Alabama is pretty big. Obviously, Mississippi State took care of South Carolina. We kind of already discussed the Vanderbilt-Georgia game. Ole Miss and Auburn, that was a pretty exciting game too. Auburn, at one point, almost like Missouri and Alabama. Early in the second half, Auburn had a 14-point lead. Ole Miss comes storming back and really provided some theatrics there late. Wright scored a layup to tie the game, send it into overtime, and then Devontae Shuler hit a game-winning field goal in overtime to seal the win for Ole Miss. So Auburn's Vanderbilt's next opponent. They're going to come in on Tuesday at Memorial Coliseum. But then obviously Tennessee and Kentucky. And once again, that was a game where Kentucky had a lead there in the first half, early second, and then Tennessee just kind of took over and dominated there in the second half, most of the second half, and got a big win against the flailing. I say a big win, but a win against a flailing Kentucky team that's 5-12 right now, and we know what happens when Kentucky's 5-12. It makes for a lot of good message board banner on sites like ours and networks like ours. So yeah, things are going really good there. So, but moving forward, we'll kind of flip the script, and here's a kind of a snapshot of the standings as they are right now. Alabama, despite the loss, is still 10-1 in the conference, and they're in first place by a wide margin right now. Missouri, like we said, scored the win over Alabama, but they're they're still in second place. They're still a little bit behind. They're 6-3 in the conference, so a little bit of catching up to do as the season moves on. But Tennessee's third. Uh, Arkansas, Florida, LSU were all had their games postponed, so they were kind of idle this weekend anyway, and you kind of see how the rest of the SEC kind of stacks up. Vanderbilt's kind of they're in last place. Texas A&M's at 2-6. Auburn's at 4-7. So Auburn's, like I said, Auburn's the next opponent for Vanderbilt. They are coming to Nashville on Tuesday night. It's a 7:30 tip, but they are 10-10 overall. 4-7. They've lost 3 in a row. So, but they're a team that can really score. I mean, I think they're fourth in the SEC in scoring right now. So they're a team that can put points on the board. They average almost 80 points a game. So we'll kind of talk about that a little bit here in a few. But going back to the Georgia game, this is kind of the snapshot of the stats and everything. And kind of like I said in the recap, and for those of y'all that read it, for most people were just kind of disgusted and wanted to drink and move on with their lives after that game. But but obviously Scottie Pippen had a off game. Was able to get 12 points, but just didn't really shoot the ball too well. He did get a lot of points, just kind of attacking the basket, driving the lane, and drawing fouls into the free throw line. So he was able to do that. Had 5 assists, but Dylan DeSue had a great game, very efficient for Vanderbilt. 15 points, led the team in scoring, led the team in rebounding with rebounds with 6. Also led the team in blocks with 3. Really good game. Max Evans had a good game. I mean, he exploded for 29 points in the South Carolina win. But he had double digits. He had 10, but he hit some clutch threes in this game. He was 3 of 6 from 3. Made some really good threes. Threes that really helped Vanderbilt stay in the game, and obviously, at a couple times tied the game there in the second half. So good for him. Jordan Wright had a pretty efficient game too. 5 of 9 shooting, had 12 points, 3 assists. 5 rebounds, so he had a really good game too. Vanderbilt's biggest issue moving forward, and it has been all season, it will continue to be, is just they have no post play at all. Jiggy Obina, Cleavon Brown didn't get nothing from neither of those guys really. Cleavon is really just kind of somebody's mentioned on the board. I can't remember who, but said kind of mentioned he's a shell of himself, and that's right. So far this year he has been. Obviously he's had hasn't been available for every game, but he was a very productive player the last couple of years, and just not really producing like he has been this year. And Quentin Millaro Brown's another guy, wasn't available for the Georgia game, but it's another guy they could use. I mean, he is. He didn't really give you a whole lot, but he is one of Vanderbilt's best offensive rebounders. So I mean, they could definitely use that help down low. So kind of curious to see if he'll be back and available for the Auburn game on Tuesday. So that's kind of a look at the stats for Vanderbilt. And obviously Vanderbilt, like when it comes to rebounds, points in the paint, they're going to get outmatched in those categories going forward. They have been all year. That's just going to be the deal. I mean, the best post player they have right now is Dylan DeSue. Wouldn't really consider him a big by no means. I mean, but that just kind of is a credit to how much of a skilled, versatile player he is. I mean, he's got the ability to step outside, shoot a 3. He can hit a mid-range shot. He looks like he's the only one that knows how to do any back-to-the-basket moves on this team. Down low in the paint, he hit a couple of those shots, kind of back-to-the-basket turnaround jumper type shots in the Georgia game. So just a super versatile player. Probably one of Scottie Pippen's the leading scorer, but I think Dylan DeSue's maybe the Vanderbilt's best overall player on the court at all times. So at least he was. It looked like to me against Georgia. So that kind of goes to show you what Vanderbilt's post presence is. It's not very good, in terms of size and even the guys that do have size, they need to get in there and rebound, but it's just not happening for Vanderbilt this year. And so, when it comes to rebounds, points in the paint, those are statistics and categories Vanderbilt's not going to win. They haven't so far this year. They probably won't going forward. But you look at Georgia. I mean, Georgia, PJ Horn just had a phenomenal game shooting 4 or 5 from 3, had 14 points. Severe Wheeler, one of the best point guards in the league, really. I mean, to, just got 16 points. He averages over 7 assists a game. He had 9 against Vanderbilt. Man, that dude just really knows what to do with the ball in his hands, driving the lane. He's got vision. Just really, really kind of fun to watch him play and kind of see what he's capable of doing. Just one of the best point guards in the league. And Vanderbilt's going to be taking on another very, very good point guard in Sharif Cooper for Auburn on Tuesday. So that'd be a fun matchup to watch. Him and Scottie Pippen Jr. go up against each other. But yeah, Georgia, good production. PJ Horn, I mean, like I said, was fire from 3. And Justin Kier there had 10 points, but he really sealed the deal with those 2 free throws there at the end. But that was after Tamani Kamara just made some phenomenal plays for Georgia there at the end. Obviously on the inbounds pass going up for the layup, he got fouled. He hit one of his free throws, which that's all you needed. Took a 71-70 lead, and then he made the big play, the big block on Scottie Pippen Jr. on his drive to the basket and an attempted layup there on defense. Made a big block, kept the ball in bounds, and passed the ball out to Justin Kier, who kind of pretty much got fouled. Shot the 2 free throws, 73-70, and pretty much sealed the game for Georgia at that point. So yeah, that was how that kind of ended. Hate to kind of recap that loss for all the Vandy fans out there, but that's kind of how that Georgia game went down. So we'll kind of look and see, despite the the kind of a down game from Scottie Pippen Jr. Only had 12 points. Still is second in the league in points per game. It's averaging 21. That was second to Cameron Thomas of LSU at 22.3. And he's also second in the SEC in assists per game at 5.4. Obviously, just the mentioned Severe Wheeler is number 1 in that category, averaging 7.4. And actually, Sharif Cooper averages about 9 points a game, but he was ruled ineligible to begin the season. Hasn't played enough games, I think, to be eligible for that category yet. So yeah, that kind of a breakdown of how things go, how things are going. Obviously, we mentioned Auburn coming into to Memorial on Tuesday night. They're 10-10 overall, 4-7 in the SEC. Like I mentioned, they've lost their last 3. So they're kind of a bit on a downward spiral. I wouldn't say spiral, but kind of eager for a win. I mean, they're 4th in scoring. I mean, they can score some points. They've just come up short the last 3 games, but they average about 80 points a game. Like I mentioned, Sharif Cooper leads them in points. He averages over 20 points a game, 4.3 rebounds, and like I said, he averages 8.8 assists, almost 9 assists per game. So he's the real deal. Vanderbilt's going to be going up against another elite point guard, and like I said, him and Severe Wheeler, maybe the 2 best point guards in the league. So, but Auburn is also led by Alan Flanagan, averages over 14 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 2.9 assists per game. They also, down low, have a really good power forward in Jaylen Williams, about 6'8", 230 pounds, averages about 12 points a game, is Auburn's leader in rebounds, averaging just a little over 6, and he obviously leads the team in blocks at 1.5 blocks per game. So down low, advantage Auburn. Also, they have Dalen Carnell, who is a freshman that Vanderbilt was heavily involved with coming out of high school. So that's another person to kind of keep an eye on there for Vanderbilt fans, and a name that Vanderbilt fans would probably know. But another freshman on their team that's doing really well this year is JT Thor, who's averaging 9 points a game, 4.4 rebounds, and almost 1 steal a game. So with that being said, that's kind of a brief recap and outlook. Obviously, like I said, Vanderbilt will play Auburn on Tuesday. At that tip time is at 7:30. Tyler Mansfield's going to have a preview of that, so he's going to have a little bit more in-depth stuff on on Auburn over at vandysports.com. So please subscribe to our site. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the like button. Hit the bell for notifications moving forward. We really appreciate that. And like I said, we're going to kind of keep the live video updates coming and put some more creative content out for you guys on our YouTube channel. Whether it's recaps, weekend recaps with basketball, we're going to have some recruiting conversations as well. Hopefully have Justin Angel on here, and we'll just me and him will chit chat about recruiting and things like that, and maybe we'll have some special guest interviews and things like that on here going forward. So we're really looking forward to that. Appreciate you guys' support, and obviously I will point out there's a black dot right there. First time I got this camera, it was perfect, and then the second time I used it, yeah, that black dot appeared. I have no idea where it came from. I cleaned the screen and everything, so I might get a new camera moving forward when I do the next, maybe not the next video, but maybe in a couple weeks I'll get a new camera. So we're kind of learning on the fly here, taking these baby steps. So anyway, I'll stop rambling. Appreciate you guys following us, subscribing to our site. Keep the Vanderbilt conversation going in the Commodore War Room. We'll talk to you all in there. And like I said, thank you all. And more videos to come, so we appreciate it.